The story begins with three detectives who have just arrested a murder suspect. Their names are Alex, Monica, and Thomas. Because the case was solved, they went home and rested. The next day, there was a hitman who would carry out his mission. The boss had sent an advance payment as a token of the assignment. The hitman was named Picasso. Then he went inside to approach his target. Picasso walked straight into the illegal fighting match and approached the owner of the event. He intended to fight and challenge the champion there. Picasso gave him a large sum of money and promised not to ask for it, whether he won or lost. Eventually, he was allowed to fight. There, Picasso's eyes locked on an aunt, who turned out to be his target. The match finally began, and Picasso was immediately underestimated. He entered the arena, and the crowd laughed at him. Before the match started, Picasso told his opponent not to hit him in the face if his opponent wanted to keep fighting. Instead, his opponent hit Picasso in the face. Picasso kept his word and broke his opponent's hand so that he could no longer fight. Then the aunt named Fan Yu Li invited Picasso to her house, and after that they did a romantic scene there. After finishing their activity, Picasso immediately injected a very dangerous anesthetic liquid, which can make the whole body paralyzed and unable to move. There, Picasso immediately took a gun and finished off all of the aunt's bodyguards. Long story short, after Picasso finished off the bodyguards, he came back and started torturing her. The aunt could only cry because her body was completely paralyzed, but could still feel pain. Apparently, Picasso was a psychopathic hitman who always tortured his victims before finishing them off. In the end, the auntie died horribly. The next day, the police chief asked Alex and Thomas to come. They immediately went to the aunt's house and began to examine and investigate it in detail. Alex, who was very experienced, immediately said that this was the work of one person. He immediately explained to Thomas about the theory that the culprit was only one person and very professional. Alex also said that the aunt was his main target and that Picasso had left his paintings there. They returned to the office for further investigation into the case. They discussed in the office and tried to find other clues. Meanwhile, Alex focuses on the painting left behind by Picasso, and he also managed to find the initials name of the next victim, namely the aunt's business partner named Eric. They went straight to the building where the next victim was located, but the head of building security said that everything was fine and under control. The head of building security also said that they were all former police officers who had been trained, but suddenly the water line leaked. One of his colleagues said that there was something strange about the water circulation in the building. Finally, they believed what Alex said. And sure enough, Picasso entered through the water pipe and headed upstairs. The bodyguards said that Aunt Fan Yu Li's killer might be after him. The bodyguards split up and searched the Picasso. Meanwhile, Eric was guarded by Thomas and Monica. They finally save Eric, but Picasso could escape. After he returned home, Picasso was very angry. This was because he had never failed a mission before. Picasso looked at the three detectives' faces. He then hit a glass in front of him. Meanwhile, at the police headquarters, the leader asked who Picasso really was. Then Alex said that Picasso was a psychopathic hitman, and possibly a former military elite. Alex also said that Picasso had a close relationship with the victims. Apparently, the three targets were three conglomerates who were create a partnership to build a magnificent building in the center of the city, and they are just about to start the project. They were Fan Yu Li the aunt, Eric, and another one named Mercier. The next day, they went straight to Mercier's house. When they arrived, the secretary Mega welcomed them. Mercier also came and immediately met Alex. They shook hands and said that the ring he was wearing was a gift from the king of Cambodia that he always wore. He immediately invited Alex to talk in another room, but there, Alex was secretly suspicious of him, because Mercier didn't look worried, even though his two best friends had just been targeted by a hitman. Alex asked him if Mercier knew the hitman. Then it looks like Mercier is quite panicked and looks tense. Alex left the house and returned to headquarters. At night at home, Monica, who had just returned home, without realizing that Picasso was already in her house. It turned out that Picasso immediately killed Monica. An hour later, at a restaurant where Alex and his wife were having dinner together, he received a call from Picasso, who immediately sent a picture of the dead Monica. Unbeknownst to him, Picasso was already in the next building with a long-barreled rifles, but it was Alex's wife who Picasso was locked. The next day, at a church, Thomas and Alex both lose the woman they love. At the funeral, Picasso is seen from afar watching the event while painting Alex's face. Long story short, at Alex's house, Thomas gets Monica's autopsy results, which contain a very dangerous anesthetic liquid. The liquid was specially made by a chemist, and only one person is sure to know about it. Here Alex thinks he should ask the gangster boss, who might be able to help find out who made the drug. Then introduced the most powerful gangster boss in the city named Daramis Holiday. Alex immediately asked who the chemist was who could produce the dangerous drug. Alex promised Daramis to help his brother who was being held by the police to get remission. Then Daramis agreed. They finally met the chemist and beat him up, but he doesn't know anything about Picasso. However, the chemist had CCTV footage of Picasso's arrival. Alex also contacted his friend to track down Picasso's car, whose license plate was caught on CCTV. Meanwhile, Picasso apparently headed to a building where today Erich and Mercier would hold an important meeting. Alex informs his boss to immediately heading to the location. The police were ready and spread out in all directions, but it turns out that Picasso using a train to headed there. A group of hooligans suddenly mocked Picasso, but Picasso remained relaxed and immediately boarded the train. From here, it is known that Picasso will start the action on a moving train, while Alex and Thomas are already at the location. But suddenly Picasso could finish off Erich and Mercier. After succeeding, Picasso casually got off the train and fled by car. But while on the way, Alex suddenly crashed Picasso's car. Here Picasso managed to escape into the empty building. There Alex immediately chased him, so a fight between them ensued. In the middle of the fight, Picasso could corner Alex. Unfortunately, part of the building collapsed, leaving Picasso and Alex hanging. Simultaneously, Alex then released Picasso's grip from his hand, causing Picasso to fall and die instantly. Here Alex was saved by Thomas. When they were evacuated, Thomas said that it was all over. But unlike Thomas, Alex says that it's still not over yet. A few days later, the scene was in a villa on the Bali Island. Suddenly, the villa guard there ran while carrying his boss's cell phone because there was a phone call. It turns out that their boss is Mercier, who until now was still alive. And the person who contacted Mercier was Alex. Here Alex said that he had asked the Indonesian police for help in arresting Mercier. Alex also knew that Picasso was Mercier's man, who was ordered to finish off Erich and Fan Yu Li. Surprisingly, when Picasso destroyed the building earlier, Alex already knew that the person who came to the meeting was not Mercier, because he did not wear the ring given by the king of Cambodia. Mercier had previously said that he always wore the ring. Hearing this, Mercier panicked and realized his mistake. Soon the Indonesian police arrived and arrested Mercier. After being searched, it turned out that Mercier was also carrying a lot of drugs, and that would further aggravate his sentence. Alex also looked very satisfied, because now his mission had really been completed. Along with Mercier's arrest, the movie ended.